You're listening to the episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is a place we're entitled to Brad's Opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, today we have one of my favorite outfits here, the Next Step Women's Center. They've been on before. You've asked to see more, and here they are. Before we get jumping in the deep end, I understand you had a big event in your life, Summer.
I did.
Tell us about it.
Well, in the past 30 days, I've had two grandchildren.
Two grandchildren. Good heavens.
Yes. Had January 4th, my oldest son, Colton, welcomed his second son into the world. And then last week, my daughter, Gabby, welcomed her first son into the world.
Wow.
All the babies.
Well, just two, three more, and you might match Megan in terms of number of kids. Who knows?
I'm just saying, I had a little girl. I got all boys.
Well,
grandsons.
yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. I love them.
You also already have a message here, Gidget Robertson Moore, cheering you on. Okay, it's nice. Well, everybody's seen this show, has seen y'all before. This is Megan Hollowell Swearingen. I got to throw the maiden name in so I can keep straight. Do other old men call you by your maiden name still? All those old guys, it's a habit.
Pretty much. Old
okay.
friends, and I still do it with my friends. You know, Jamie Lehman's always Jamie Lehman, and
And then you got Laura.
Laura
Lingle's
Lingle's always
here.
Laura Lingle in my heart. Yeah.
Yes, and her brother's now part of the operation. He's over there wondering what in the world he's gotten himself into. It looks like, but whatever.
I think that's true. He's sat in it with prayer meeting this morning, and I know he got more than he bargained for.
Well, usually you do. And then, of course, Summer Garcia here, she runs the outfit.
Yes.
And they have these nice folders that kind of keep us on track of what they got. And they got lots going on in this spring, and we'll go over those. We'll go over how many people they served, how you can help. I understand in particular we have a need for diapers, but we'll get into that as well. But before that, though, let's talk about the sponsors that make all this possible.
The sponsors.
Yeah, well, and you know these people, right?
Yes.
Daniel Vaisden over at CrossFit Burleson,
Yes.
317 Southwest Wilshire, over there in a pretty heavy-duty workout. It's a place it's for serious workout. I mean, it's not like, Olympic style, but it's to get you in shape, not just to look good for the bathing suit season, even though that's a good thing, too. But anyway, my joke for him is, don't throw a fit, get fit at CrossFit. Some follows are looking at the show already. Jane Burton is liking your show, and also your own website's liking the show.
Oh, I shared it. I'm making it happen out there.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the link yet, but I'll be sharing it with the other posts. It just takes time the link takes time to get through.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know what it is about Facebook. I think they're out to get me. But anyway, thank you, Daniel, for what you do for this community, and in so many different ways. I need to talk to his friends down at Eagle's Nest, the McConnells, because I haven't seen them in a little while. Also, Shandy Stogsdill over at the Stogsdill Group. She'll be on the show on Monday. As you may know, she's running for school board. And I think you're enthusiastic about that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen you liking her posts and all this. We'll be talking mostly about that, but she also comes on the show to talk about real estate because she's a person to talk to about real estate in this area. She knows all the places to buy it and where to get the financing and what the rates are doing. And every time she comes and talks real estate, she brings something like this, and then she throws down the facts and figures. So thank you, Shandy. Also, everybody knows Otto at our place. I was there earlier this week. I'll be there tomorrow. That's where I do all my networking stuff. Our place restaurant is the place to do business because it's good service, good food, good people. And I always compliment him about how he retains staff. I mean, you don't see that in restaurants very often where people work there, multiple years, or you have several family members. Also, another here, Bethany Myers. Is that a friend of yours?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Also, Wild Cigar and Culture?
Yes. So I go to, I'm in Rotary Club, but he came and spoke a couple weeks ago, and you always ask me if I smoke or things like that, and I get so, I'm like, no, I know. But he was talking about all the things they offer and, how to smoke a cigar properly, you don't all the way inhale, you taste it and all this. It was very interesting, and they are so knowledgeable.
Oh, they are, and they really make a big deal out of their humidor, as they should, because what I like about it is it's a place that if you're not really familiar with cigars, they'll help you. They got tobacconists there. They don't have some high school kid is playing on his phone like I do here. I mean, they got people that know tobacco and are trained in it. So if you say, well, this is the kind of experience I want, kind of taste I want, or whatnot. Oh, well, this is what you want over here, that kind of stuff. And some of those cigars, I mean, they're pretty fancy. So I was there last
And
Friday.
they won some kind of award for their old fashioned, which I've never had an old fashioned. But if you like that, they've won an award. So
Oh, no, I was there. Thursday, or no, Friday rather, having a BNI meeting with one of my buddies there, and you could talk and do things. It's not like a sports bar, even though they'll have a big Super Bowl party coming up this weekend and all that, and they have the TVs, but it's quiet and they play jazz in the background, so it's a good place to do business. Also, thank you to Tiffany Nico. She's got the magazine out. What I like about her magazine, besides the fact it goes to 30,000 homes and it has good ads, it also has a lot of information about what's going on in the community. And I believe they're going to do an election issue pretty soon. But Tiffany works 24/7, so I'm trying to get her on the show. But it's like, well, this week I'm booked, next week I'm booked. Okay, fine, sure. I'd say, well, if I were Kelly Clarkson, you'd call me back. So, so speaking of Kelly Clarkson, has she really made it and not? How could she say she's made it and not have been on my show? Until then, she's still going to.
You make a good point.
Yeah, she's going to still struggle. On to the next one. Southern Jim. Yeah, I've been there. You take Chad up there?
I haven't taken him yet.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to get him into a jewelry store.
Well, it's a good way of putting it, because jewelry store, they have a lot of men shoppers for their wives, and they do have some male jewelry, but mostly it's female jewelry. But when they get down to that bottom floor in about a month, 5 weeks, they're going to have like a bullpen sort of thing for the men to go sit and watch the ball game while the ladies go shop.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And they'll have.
It's pretty smart.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is really smart.
Yeah, they'll have, soda or wine or something like that. And so you're watching the game, your wife's spending the college money. But it's, when I do my husbandly duty is I go to antique malls with my wife, and they never have a place for me. It's if they have like a food area, it's like a doily and really feminine place.
Some
and
finger sandwiches and tea for you.
Yeah, I can get a $20 tuna fish sandwich or something. But it's like, this is a good idea. Have the ball game on. Here have Dr. Pepper or whatever.
I like that. Does she do that where you can go make a list and send the husband?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's
See, that's the way you do the gifting.
Oh, she has a wish list.
I don't hint. I straight up slide the list over, honey.
Yeah. But she also does repairs. They do a lot of repair work.
I love it.
And so it's a good deal. Also, thank you to Hot Works over in 731 over by Chicken and Salad Chick. I bet you know where that is. Everybody, my wife likes that place too. But Hot Works is an infrared workout, and it really there's a lot of customers that go to CrossFit and then to Hot Works because it helps the yoga and the stretching and all this helps, and doing an infrared system really helps with the muscles and the joints. And they got a lot of different workouts, from like high cardio to rowing to well, Taylor does it. You did the blast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look how fit he is. Doggone him.
Anyways.
And he's walking down the hallway, and all the female employees here are like, Anyway, Hot Works. Did I just go mute? No. Anyway, Hot Works on 731. Also, my insurance agent, Texas Farm Bureau with Melissa Harmon, 682-804-0534. Check out your insurance for auto and home. She saved me some money on both. And then on life insurance, she upgraded me so now I'm worth more dead than alive, I'm afraid. And Robin's like, have an extra piece of pie. Anyway, so, you can put off that, fixing your brakes till later. No, she's not like that most of the time. 682-804-0534. Also, we got a couple other charitable things going on. One is the code drive will be over next Tuesday. Go by Trinity Chiropractic on Summercrest and Alsbury. Take by a used or in good condition coat or a new coat, and you'll get an x-ray, you'll get an examination, you'll get a treatment if you need it, and they'll talk to you about maybe treatment plans if you need it. So go by, and it'll help. It goes to Beautiful Feet Ministries. It helped the homeless with the coats, even though it hasn't been freezing cold. It was last week, and then I hope Dr. Dias got some good response. Also, our friends over at Harvest House are trying to put together a fridge fund. They need $20,000 between now and the 17th to help buy and install the refrigerator units they got. They're going to have refrigerated food, which is, when I remember the Harvest House 15 years ago, it's, canned and boxed foods. They didn't have dairy, they didn't have meats and whatnot, or they didn't have they had vegetables you didn't have to refrigerate, and now they're going to have everything.
Yeah, they do. They have so much food. We had a client come in who had a food need, and we sent her over, and she came back and said, "They gave me turkey, they gave me ham, they gave me like." She listed all the meat. She's like, "We've been living on soup for a while. This is amazing." It was.
Yeah, well, she comes on once a month, and their need is like almost gone up 30%,
Yeah.
and their giving has gone down a little bit because economic factors, whatnot, and so. In fact, I have 2 or 3 nonprofits, and you can probably tell me this as well. Donations had dipped a bit. I guess does that happen for y'all?
Yes, I think that we've had a few who've had to say, I need to decrease my giving or stop for the season. So we've seen some of that.
Well, that is unfortunate because of economic factors and whatnot. She said that people still are struggling a bit financially, even though apparently I never had it so good according to Tuesday night's speech. But that's another thing. All right, no politics. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I said no politics, but I did not watch the State of the Union address. I did what every real American does. I watch college basketball. Thank you. But anyway. Let's talk about y'all. Enough about me. You have in the folder the services y'all provided. Do you want to talk about that first? Or do you want to talk about the bags for babies?
Let's talk about what we do first.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
All right, and this is very nice. This brochure is available to anybody who walks in, right?
If they come in and ask for our ministry report, I have plenty. It will go to our major and consistent donors so that they can see what we're doing. But we have enough that we're happy to share with. If you have questions and want to know more, we can certainly pass these out. But our services, we provide free pregnancy tests, lab grade testing, and a proof of pregnancy. And that's important for multiple reasons. And one of those is if you want to be eligible for Medicaid, you need a lab grade test and a pregnancy proof of pregnancy signed by a medical person. And so that's why we have our nurse manager on staff and a few nurse volunteers who come in. We're really praying to grow our nursing staff because we have a huge need, and our poor nurse manager is just back to back with clients, and it gets heavy and hard, and it'll be really good when we can get some more nurses in the building to help us.
Yes.
And then once they get their pregnancy test, we'll talk to them about an ultrasound. The ultrasounds are free also. And it's an opportunity to make sure baby is where baby needs to be in the uterus, because you need to find out if you have an ectopic as soon as you can, because that's a real medical issue. And when we find that, we send them to the ER, of course. But we're also going to measure baby, see how far along they are so they can have a good idea of that, and measure heartbeat. And then we also provide similar appointments for men. Obviously, they're not getting a pregnancy test, but
or an ultrasound.
But they're present for the ultrasound if that's what mom wants. And but we do have a separate appointment for him. We have our first male volunteer who's hanging out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so he's able to hang out on Tuesday. I walked by the office and heard all the men voices in there, and it was like, yes, because
is it like a group session they were having?
It was just 2 of them.
Okay,
I mean, in our building, that 2 men voices is a lot.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking at your service page here, and to talk about the support for men, that's not something that most people realize. Particularly I wouldn't have done that until they all have educated me that men also avail of your services as well, parenting classes and. How to take care of children. When you talk about parenting classes, you talking about literally like how to change a diaper, or are you also talking about how to be a father?
Well, we've got
a
variety of classes.
Well, you're always prepared.
I know.
Really, it's a lot of parenting needs. Whatever, getting baby to sleep, baby crying, infant temperament. Working on the milestones they need to be hitting, how to potty train. Time with toddler and toddler accidents, and there's a variety of topics that it's on, and the prenatal classes are for men and women, so they take those together so that they're both learning what's happening and what should happen at delivery and those kinds of things.
I don't know if you keep this kind of stat, but how many of these couples are couples actually, not either married or partners, or not just this? because you know a lot of people think about these kind of pregnancy situations. They think emergency situations or unexpected or a young girl or something like that, and that's not it at all. I mean, you look at the data, you see it's all the age groups. But how many of these are actual couples that come together, like they're going to make a life together with this child?
We've seen a huge increase in couples. It's been kind of interesting. I think Megan brought the numbers on how many men came last year with their partners.
I didn't bring the numbers, but I know from the meeting yesterday that 20% of our clients last year were men. So that's how. And when the men are coming, I have not seen a time when it wasn't a situation that they were in a relationship together, and whether married or not, and determining that they were figuring this out together.
Yeah. Well, again, the common perception of people are maybe someone unfamiliar is like, this was a mistake. Maybe the dad has taken off, made tracks or something like that. I'm sure you get that.
We do.
Yeah, but I think it sounds like you get more and more people that are wishing to keep the child and raising the child, as opposed to maybe 10 years ago, maybe, I don't know.
Definitely. And we actually see couples, I wouldn't really call them a couple, but partners where they are not going to stay together, but they are going to make it work, co-parent okay. situation. We see that. But I started volunteering in 1998, and so over the years I've seen a huge shift from the men that come in. And in 2015 I was the receptionist, and so we'd see the guys come in, and they'd almost be like ashamed, like, oh, she's gonna judge me and this, but now, because there's just been a shift in our culture, they're coming in, and they a lot of times have big smiles on their face because they're proud to be there with their partner, and we are loving on them, and we are making sure that they're getting the support and care and love that they need as well.
Well, one of the things in my generation, I'm much older than both of y'all, is that if this happened to a young girl, there was a lot of shame involved.
Absolutely.
And they have to maybe move out of town or something like that, or they go to a Lena Pope home and stuff like that. I'm not encouraging young women to have children out of a relationship, out of wedlock, so to speak, but I judge it a whole lot differently. They're having the child, and I fully support that. And I'm glad that we don't shame people like we used to, because that probably a lot of abortions over the last few decades occurred because they were ashamed. And shame is not an effective policy.
No.
Well, and shame is not the heart of God. And at the base of it, we are a Christian organization, and our heart is for women to experience all kinds of freedom from that shame and the guilt, but also to walk a healthy and whole life. And so that's our heart at the end of the day, is that we want to show up well for them because we love Jesus and Jesus loves them.
Now, over the last few years, I mentioned this before, how my attitude about young girls getting pregnant changed because of my high school teaching days. But now when I see a young mother, and she's not married and maybe doesn't have a partner, but she's going to have that child, I almost want to thank her, congratulate her, because she understands the sacrifices that's going to happen by raising a child, maybe by herself, and she's choosing life. And I just I don't know, it sounds kind of corny or kind of hackneyed to go and say thank you for having your child, but that's almost how I feel about it sometimes.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so brave and courageous to take on another life, to choose to parent. And we don't take that lightly. We don't take that choice lightly. And we do our best to be as available as possible for as long as possible. We had our first, I don't know if it's on the list, we had our first soul care in-person discipleship class start the week before the ice storm, and our second class was last night. And I sat with a couple of our clients, and one is early in pregnancy, one's got their baby's a year, and they've been doing classes and hanging out with us. And most of them are choosing to parent alone. And so walking through this discipleship, and God is your father, and God can be the baby's father, and he's going to be there for you. Like, guys, these girls are they're like scribbling. The first week I'm teaching, and I look, and they're like, no, I teach children's ministry. Nobody takes notes when I teach.
Or nobody takes notes even later. I could tell you that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're like marking everything down, and they're so interested in hearing them read the Bible and come to those realizations on their own, that He loves me, He is not disappointed in me, He is with me through this, He's my Father, and it's amazing.
Well, let's address that as well. We talked about this before on other shows. This is a choice they make to have spiritual counseling. It isn't like,
sir.
it's not a cost of doing business for them.
No.
And they need, I think people that know your program and maybe listen to this show need to know that these women you talk about coming to spiritual realizations, this is the path they wanted to take, not they had to take just to avail themselves of your services.
Correct. We ask to be, to be invited into a relationship so that we can, but we would never disrespect a person. And we do. We have women that say, that's just not what I'm about. That's not what I, want right now. And we 100% respect that.
So
We've also had women who said, I'd like you to come pray for me, but I'm a different faith. And so they want me, and I'm like, well, I'm going to pray as a believer in the name of Jesus. And they're like, yeah, but I'm able to, like, okay, I'll pray for you any day. But we're able to have a conversation and share what we both believe with full respect.
Full respect.
And yes.
Well, I'd hope they take it as a concern and not as you're trying to convert them on the spot. Because, if I don't, this is a wild example, but if a Muslim person said, I want to pray for you, I wouldn't say, well, I don't believe in Allah, so just don't waste your time. I'd say, well, thank you. That's very considerate. But, I still believe in Christ, and of course, but, I would just say, well, that's very kind of you. And
Absolutely.
And so,
and we do. We probably, I would say less than half of the women who come in at this time agree to have someone come in and pray. And that's okay. We're not going to push it again. There are certain resources that are from Christian agencies, and so we will make sure that they know, well, we do have this resource, but it is a spiritual-based company, and they can choose if that's what they want to receive or not. It is fully permission-based, and whatever they say goes at the end, because our heart is to respect. And honestly, there was when I was first married, and neither of us had finished college yet, and we were pregnant, and I needed to get a slip for Medicaid. I've walked through this process. I've gone to a pregnancy center to get that piece of paper, and we were both in seminary. Like, we were both getting theological degrees. We'd been married for a year, all of those things. And she worked really hard to get me saved. And I remember going, no, like the whole Roman road, I got it memorized, girl. Like, we're good. But I don't ever want someone to feel the way I felt. Cause you do feel like, because I didn't have enough money, you think that I'm not good enough, but that's not necessarily true at all.
So you do hook them up with government assistance if they need it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Even if it's a private, nonprofit, faith-based, if you send them to Medicaid or
we have someone in-house who will help them walk through the application process for Medicaid.
I'm sure that's just 10 minutes, right? Nothing with the government's programs.
Our navigators would disagree with that.
No,
I thought you were
it's a
serious
beating.
for a second.
Yeah, no. Oh, no. I did FAFSA for my kids, and it was a scarring experience.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm looking at the other stuff you have. You also have the Little Steps Boutique. How's that going? I know this is something somewhat new.
It is somewhat new. We've had the baby boutique in our office for years and years, but we are seeing so many more clients, and our education class is booming. I promise you, we are friends with tons of people who run centers like ours, and I think that ours is bigger than most of the people we know. We give out so much. We're moving so much. We're doing so much. And so we needed a bigger boutique. And that's the Little Steps Boutique. It's in Suite B of of that building on 250 Northwest Tarrant. And
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And it's all thanks to, we were on here talking about it in September. We needed that $10,000 and we got 11. And so we were not only able to build it, but we were able, not build it, it was built, but redo it. We were also able to stock it so that when we opened, we had a full stock for friends to shop.
Right, and they get baby bucks, right, to shop at this, and so they have baby clothes, toiletries, and toys.
Yes.
So,
yes. And they also can use their bonus bucks not only in the boutique, but they can use it at Rachel's Hope Resell as well, and get things.
Did they just have an event didn't you all have an event there?
They had their 20th
Our 20th anniversary.
in December. Yes.
Okay.
And that thing is a whole other topic because we have new management. We're redoing it. It's got a new paint job. It's beautiful and it's moving up. We're excited about Rachel Soap. You should stop by. It's getting back to that more boutique feel. Actually, this turtleneck is from Rachel's Soap.
But it's more than clothes, right? It's other
It
things.
is more than
Yes.
clothes.
Right.
It's more than clothes. We've got furniture. We've got
Furniture,
dishes. We've got baby stuff. We've
Well,
got it
good.
all.
And all the proceeds go to y'all, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm looking also at not just the medical care, but we were talking about before. Hopefully, you're going to expand and get a medical clinic. Is that still hope?
That is the hope down the line. We really would like to expand. We are so busy. The immediate need now is a second sono room because we're seeing so many and saunas during the day. So we're in the process of making another room that the nurse can have her consultations and do sonograms as needed as well.
Well, as far as your services, also people come looking for your services. Do they have an idea why you exist, or do they completely don't have any idea? But they were pregnant, they don't know where to turn. They found your number. Do you have to educate them that no, we're not going to help you with an abortion decision. We want to help you find a way to keep the child.
Right. That is told to them up front in the very beginning that we do not refer for or perform abortions. And we do have some women that are like, okay, thanks, but no thanks. But we do have some women that are like, okay, but I still would like to come in and get a pregnancy test, get a sonogram, and things like that.
We have a lot who are looking for their options. Like
Looking for
that's
their
the
options.
question they're asking is, I want to know what my options are.
But you were telling me before the show, some of them already have gotten their ticket paid for, literally by other groups.
By pro-abortion groups that then they're coming in to us so that they can know need to know how far along they are so they can know what kind of procedure to get.
I don't think I can comment on that appropriately on a family show, but that just floors me. It really does.
It keeps me up at night crying.
Yeah.
But I do want to tell a happy story about that.
Okay.
Did we tell that?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's such a great story. So there was a woman that came to us, and she was on her way to Kansas. She had her appointment booked, and she was actually praying and asked God to give her a sign, not to go through with it. And she had a blowout. And so she's like, "There's your sign." And so she came to us. She turned around, came to us, had an ultrasound, and was super happy to be pregnant, and even signed up for some parenting classes and things like that. So that's like one of those, like, okay, this is why we do what we do. This is what keeps me going in every morning.
Well, and all the numbers here, as Megan always has a nice, you can see it on the camera, right? It's always well done, but 8,446 total client visits. That's a bunch.
That is
a bunch. Last year we did about 5,400. So it's a big jump.
Why do you think it's because people know about you more now?
I think the need is greater right now. I think because of the laws and the resources.
Well, yeah.
There's so many fewer resources that they need us, and we're getting calls. We're getting calls from all over, and we're getting texts from all over. And so that's one of the reasons. Another reason is that our education classes are expanding so much that's bumping up that number of visits of people who are coming, because we do have people who find out about our parenting classes who never came for a pregnancy test, but they hear parenting classes and free diapers and they sign up. And so that's just as exciting for us, because we want Burleson and our surrounding areas to be filled with really fabulous parents who build really strong families. So,
well, you said it's a 45% increase from the previous year. That's a bunch. Do you think the Supreme Court decision had something to do with that also?
Yes, sir.
I do.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine so. But also 32% increase in pregnancy tests, 27% increase in sonograms. You have 736 of them. you think about it, you're open, wait, 4 days, 4.5 days.
We are now open 5 days a week.
Rock and roll. All right.
Yes, yes.
But we don't do.
That-
We can't do sonograms 5 days.
We
Yeah.
can't do sonograms 5 days, and that's new. That's like in the fall we opened 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So for most of 2022, we were a 4-day-a-week operation. But because of the need, because of these numbers, essentially, we are now open till 8 on Tuesday. So some of our clients who cannot miss work and they need to be there, we're going to make sure that we're there for them. And then Fridays are a big day, big day, because it's a lot of times women are going to want to take that abortion pill on a Friday so that they can do all the hard stuff over the weekend. And we want to be available on Fridays if they need any help, as far as if they need to survey their options. And then also if we can help connect them for abortion pill reversal or things like that.
Mm-hmm. That's a bunch. I mean, though, sonogram. So if you're averaging like how many a day? 5 to 6 a day?
We average about 6 a day.
6 a day is our
Wow.
number. Yep.
Wow. I mean, that's a bunch. See, I still remember some math. 153,000 plus diapers distributed. That's a bunch. And as speaking of which, I understand I saw on your post you're having a diaper drive. What's that all about?
Yes. On Monday, well, actually, this week, we have given out 113 packs of diapers, and that pretty much wiped us out this week. Because after the ice, everybody came in, and they had earned their diapers from their classes, or they had a need, and that they wiped us out with those 113 packs of diapers. And so we are, if you're shopping, grab a pack of diapers, any size, because we have parents who take classes from the prenatal all the way to 3 or 4 years. And so up to size 7. Size 7's a really hard size to find. So if you find it, go ahead and grab that one.
Yeah, we struggle to find size 7s.
Yes, but
Size 7s. Okay. You heard it out there, guys. All right.
Size 7s is a unique one, and because we are serving even the older toddlers, kids that are parents, then we need those sizes.
Like,
so.
how about those? It's been a long time, but they don't have like diapers for kids that are in the process of potty training and
Oh, the
wanna-
pull-ups.
the pull-ups.
We
Yeah.
take those too, and some
Okay.
of our clients use those.
Mm-hmm.
But we give away less of those than we do the actual diapers.
But that's a bunch. Are you still trying to get them through? Buy them wholesale. If you can.
We
Yes,
do.
and
Yeah.
City Market is.
I was gonna bring them up.
Yeah, they're very kind to us, and they help us purchase our diapers at a nice price.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Well,
kind to us.
that's good community service. And
They're
and
good
again,
people.
and I'm looking and you're looking at who we serve. I always bring this up because again, people my generation think it's a certain age group that you're probably dealing with mostly, and I'm looking at it, and you said the majority or the largest group is 20 to 24, but you look at, the 25 and to 35 plus, that's the majority here according to this pie chart. So pretty well done. And then, so 25 to you said 40s, that's a majority of your clients,
Right.
not a minority of them, and that's a kind of information that if I didn't know y'all and know this process, I wouldn't have guessed. I would have figured they're all 19 or 17 or 21, and
Right. A lot of
you
people
know.
think that we see a lot of high school students, and we really don't.
yeah.
No, we have very few of those.
Well, I'm glad to hear that anyway. I mean, in a sense that maybe, I don't know, that they're waiting till a later period in their life to do this. But how many of these that come in are either unexpected or unwanted, as opposed to like, I changed my mind, or I wanted to have a child, but I can't now? I mean, do you get a lot of that kind of situation?
Right. Back in the day, several years ago, a good majority of our clients were what we call life-minded. They're happy to be pregnant, but they needed some resources,
Right.
which we're so happy to serve. But I want to say especially the past year, I want to say since September 2021,
Yeah, I would say.
there's been a shift, and we are seeing more and more women who are considering or determined to have an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we still love and need are likely to, what we call likely to carry, the ones that are happy to be pregnant, because if we're seeing the women that are just in those hard places, it can take a toll on especially our nurses. So we love to have the happy sonograms where.
Well, and probably a lot of your clients, I'm going to guess, are not there because they're in distress about being pregnant, but they are in economic straits.
Right.
They're happy.
Yes.
They're
Super
married
happy.
women, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But the wherewithal isn't there. Or maybe they got pregnant earlier than they thought than it would. But we're not always talking about a crisis situation.
It's not always a crisis, right?
Yeah. They're just, I'm glad to have this child, but right now I'm, making $12 an hour. I need to have some support.
Or just I need some parenting help, learning how to parent this child, because I have, they don't come with, how to
Yes.
manuals.
I had one client a while back who I asked her, she had two littles that were like 2 and 3, and she was happy to be pregnant again. Like, this was exciting. She was married. And I said, how are you feeling? And I normally kind of give them a second and then go nervous, excited, or overwhelmed. And they always say all three. And so I asked some more questions, and I asked her, I said, what overwhelms you the most? And she goes, the idea of potty training.
Yes. Well, I remember those days, and my wife will tell you that I was AWOL on that deal, but I disagree. I learned how to change diapers and all that other stuff.
Yes. Well, I told her, I was like, we got a class for that. We got a class for that. We can help you. And so, I mean, we're just as happy to meet them wherever they are.
Now, we have a couple events coming up. Bags for Babies here on March 4th. How do you pronounce that event center?
It is Ancora.
Ancora.
Yes. Now, let me tell you, the Ancora Event Center is a beautiful event center in Mansfield, and the use of it it's owned by State Representative David Cook and his wife. He said it was like a church, and they've turned it into something really beautiful. He's like, I bought it just so I could have some meetings, but my wife, she got all the fancy light fixtures, and she did it all up, and now it's way bigger than I ever saw. So it's a beautiful spot in Mansfield. They've donated the use to us, so we're just paying cost because they're so kind. But it's a ladies' brunch and purse auction. So we'll have some nice juice and yummy brunch together, and then we have some great purses that have been donated from our supporters and friends, and we'll get to bid on some of those. Summer's like the purse lady.
You're the purse lady, are you?
Yes.
She's very all into it, and I'm like, I have 4 kids. I just got off a diaper bag, so so we're referring to her on those things, but we're very excited. It's going to be a nice, fun morning. We're going to talk a little bit about what God's doing. We're going to hang out together and have some girl time, and it's going to be really fun.
It's going to be fun.
Okay, this is at 403 East Broad it's Saturday, March 4th, 10 to 12, $30 tickets for the food and the fellowship and the fun, and maybe a bag, a purse, is your husband going to give you an allowance or a limit for you to spend?
Yeah, he's already been shaking his head because I've been telling him, because I'm going in and eyeing the purses, like, oh, that one's a nice one.
It's kind of like Robin at the jewelry store.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't think you need to buy it, so she'll put it aside so she can get it. No, she doesn't do that, Gayla. Just teasing. All right. Anyway, so that's a good thing to look forward to, and also you have something at Pathways on the 24th.
Yes, on the 24th. So Bags for Babies is very obviously a fun event and a fundraiser, but Songs and Stories is a family night of worship, word, and service at Pathway. And Pathway's right in our backyard, so it'll be easier to lug my stuff over. But we have several churches who are helping provide worship, a little word encouragement. We're going to have a service project, and this I have 4 kids, and I want my children to be involved in the community. I think my mom served the community very well and drug me along picking up trash or whatever along the way. And so
that's Donna. Yes, I could see you're doing that.
Right. So I want to make sure that I'm providing those opportunities for my kids and in turn everybody else's. So we're going to be very intentional about the words we use that night so that everyone can be involved, and we'll have an opportunity to pack some of the pregnancy bags when clients come in. for ultrasound, sonos, both men and women get a bag of goodies that they get to take home. And so you'll get to help pack those. We're going to have worship. We're going to have a time of prayer where we kind of have some prayer stations to pray over clients, to pray over our state and our country, and to pray over
we could use that.
Yes.
And I have to say, it's super happy coincidence. This makes me super happy. March 24th is exactly 9 months from June 24th, which is the day that Roe v. Wade was overturned. And so it's 9 months, which is the length of a
Was that
pregnancy.
intentional?
It was a happy surprise.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, we get to celebrate a little bit that night. You know, babies in a new era born without the threat of abortion in Texas. And so I'm very excited to do a little bit of celebrating that night.
Yes.
I told Megan, I was like, we got to have some kind of like birthday cake or, you know, something.
Okay.
Because we're celebrating birthdays.
This is 6:30 on Friday night, the 24th, about 5 weeks from now at Pathway. They do a lot of stuff. They're having a big old business expo. Gabrina Daniels was here earlier in the week, and they're having one. You know, and their nonprofits are involved. You might want to think about getting a table. And you know,
we've talked a little about it.
Well, my little networking group was getting one, and several of the people in the group, we got one for their own businesses. And Gabrina, you know, if you've met Gabrina, you know how enthusiastic she is.
Yes,
and,
she
you know,
is.
she's so full of life, and so you know, that may be a good place for y'all to, you know, let more people know about this kind of information. I mean, they probably know who you are and what you do to some degree, but I'm privileged to see this kind of information that a lot of people would have to look for.
That's true.
You know, I'm
Absolutely.
sure they can get it on your websites and all this other business, but here you can hand them the stuff and somebody call
I'm
him?
sorry, it's mine.
Oh, okay. It's like, no, Mr. President, I said don't call me during the show. I've done that. I've had call from the United States and said, well, how about that? But anyway, back to the important stuff. So now the songs and stories there's no fee or cost.
There's no
right?
cost. I do have there's a sign up. I put the Bags for Babies ticket place in the chat, and I'll put the songs and stories. There's a registration. It's just so that we know how much stuff to bring. We'd love to have a head count. We'd love for you to come. We'd love for you to bring your whole family. It's going to be a great time.
So we know how much birthday cake to serve.
There you go. Now,
If you want cake, sign up ahead of time.
well, I hope it's not happened to y'all, but I know that I talked to 2 or 3 other nonprofits, and they said the last few months have been tough because they've had drop in donations for all sorts of reasons and a tremendous increase in use. I mean, Jennifer Woods is talking about how the number of people coming through Harvest House has gone up by a full third. And Debbie Beeman over at Promises has said pretty much the same percentage. And y'all are telling me the same thing. Is it reflecting what's going on in our economy, or is it just that people are more willing to use the services?
I think a little of both. There is a greater need. We are seeing a greater need. But I think that we're also putting ourselves out there more, and people are realizing what we do and all of what we can offer. So I think it's a little of both.
Well, one thing I think, and we kind of mentioned it before, is the stigma is gone. And
The stigma is gone.
And that's a good
Praise
thing.
God.
Yeah, it is a good thing. And same thing with Jennifer and Debbie's outfits, and is that in my generation, we'd rather steal than take charity, which sounds odd, but we would. But now it's like, okay, we know what's going on in this world. It's a tough place, and sometimes you need help. And I think that's part of the reason why they get increased business. Also, because Burleson's growing tremendously, and a lot of people are migrating down here to avail themselves of your services, of Harvest House, of others. We're not an isolated little community anymore.
Yes. Well, and we help people in Johnson County. I think the only other pregnancy center is Cleburne. And so we probably half our Johnson County situation there. And then we're getting from South Fort Worth, Everman, Forest Hill.
Now, you still have one in Forest Hill, don't you?
We no longer have that center.
Oh, my. I did not know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why it just was the right choice for us at the season. But
well, that way is so we can expand our services in Burleson and our resources.
I see. Well, I'm sure it's the right decision. I just didn't know that. But, if you're going to be serving half of Johnson County or more, you probably have clients from Crowley and Everman
yes.
and Mansfield, I assume, and all these places. I mean, you're going to need a bigger space pretty
Yes,
soon.
it's
Yeah.
coming.
That's the prayer. That's
That's
the prayer.
We're
Yeah.
just waiting for God to say, okay, let's go.
Or or knock out the other tenants in that building. I guess I don't know. Well,
We were like looking. Do you guys want to retire anytime soon?
Yeah,
but
this-
I feel like it's us in Pathway to have that little building there. So like,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a couple of other businesses. So I almost wonder if we're all like trying to. We're both going to take
We're
it
all
over.
waiting.
It's going to be half Pathway, half Next Step.
Okay, well, but we mentioned this earlier that one day you would like to have a full-on clinic and a bigger space. Do you have any idea how close or far away you are from that?
I want to say in my prayer, it's in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
The board and I are going to start that process soon as far as strategic planning and really looking at the future and laying out a plan on how we want to.
Do you have a location already?
No, I'm
Okay.
still waiting on God for that.
Here's what y'all remind me of. You ever see the movie The Bells of St. Mary's with Ingrid Bergman and Bing Crosby? Watch that movie. Y'all remind me of Ingrid Bergman because she wanted to expand her Catholic youth home, whatever, and there was right across the street this huge factory being built, and she kept working and working and working on the factory owner until he finally felt, here, have my building. That's what you need to have happen.
We got to
right?
find that person.
yeah, find that
and
person.
just start knocking on their door.
Well, by the way, you mentioned the board. Who is on the board?
Our
Oh.
board president is Sandra Tucker. She is actually my children's music. I mean, this is coincidence that we're in the same place, but she's my children's music teacher at Brock Elementary, a member at Oak
Right.
Grove Baptist Church.
Right. Sandy Tucker, she's well known in this community. Yes.
We
Love
we
Sandy.
love the Tuckers. We love Sandy. They're so sweet. And she loves my kids. I love anyone who loves my kids well. And Kelly Reinhardt, she's a member at Christ Chapel. Justin Bond,
Yeah,
Justin
Justin,
Bond.
well,
he's on our
yes.
board, and he's such a good strategic thinker for this project.
no doubt
for us.
for his experience with Rocky Brants, I'm sure.
You wanna?
And he and Lauren, is that the perfect couple or what?
Oh, I know, aren't they? They're so cute.
I know they were like that in high school. People
And I think they have more kids than me.
they have 5.
Yeah. I
They
just
beat
feel like
you.
I have to
Well,
tell
they
you
had-
every
they-
time someone has
they,
more kids.
they had twins, so they just did it faster. But
I see.
yeah, but they, you look at y'all, and say that you're doing exactly what I thought you'd be doing. I know you where you were in high school. So that what you're doing now is exactly what I would have picked for you or pictured you. Same thing with, I'm thinking of like Lauren. She was such a sweet gal, and she still is, of course.
Absolutely.
And she wanted to have children, and she has 5. And so she that picked that for her. And Justin, same thing. It's really nice. Same thing like the Carlsons. Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
And Taylor. All right. Anyway, where I get distracted. I'm sorry. Also, we're talking about other people on the board. I'm sorry.
Jane Burton has actually moved to the board, and so I'm super excited that her legacy will get to be continued. Let's see, Jason Ellis is on the board. He's another
Jason Ellis.
Christ Chapel.
Yeah.
And Kim Kimball,
I don't know the Kim. I know Jason, but I don't know Kim.
and then Jason Pelly, and then Bill Fiocchi,
Yes,
and so
I think
Yeah.
that is it. Does
That's
that
pretty
round
much
it
it.
up?
So how does one become a member of the board? To ask for it or whatever?
they express some interest. Let me know. Let one of our board members know that you might be interested in being on the board, and it's just kind of going through a little process,
Nomination,
interviews,
interviews,
yes, but
voting.
absolutely. I would love to talk to anybody that might be interested.
Well, we're coming close on time. I'd like to let y'all have the last word. All right, I'd like to y'all figure out what's going on. Tell us what's going on with the next few weeks, few months. You mentioned also the Walk for Life is in June this year.
Yes.
We were used to have it in late April, but it's going to be in June because of these other events.
Yes.
So why don't you just fill the rest of the time with what you want us to know as a community?
All right. Well, as far as events go, I wanted to have a really strong plan going into the year with the moments that we were going to connect with our supporters and donors, and that the Bags for Babies, please buy tickets, ladies. Come on, we're going to have a good time. We've got a few sold, and we're really excited.
Well, we also, if anyone has any bags,
Yes.
we still are looking for some new or gently used
Gently
bags.
loved
Gently loved
bags.
bags.
Yes, absolutely. And again, Songs and Stories on March 24th at Pathway is going to be a great time. If you are resonating with what we're talking about, but you'd like to know more, that's the event for you. Come to Songs and Stories, worship with us, pray with us, and hear our hearts and hear what God's doing in the midst of everything we're working on. We'd love to see you at that. And again, it's free. We'd love for you to register. If we have some, just show up. We're real happy you're there if you're ready to pray and learn like we are. Our Walk for Life is June 6th. Nope, June 3rd. I don't know why in my head it's June 6th, but it's not.
That's my daughter's birthday.
June 3rd is a Saturday, and that's the day we're having it. The Walk for Life, and we'll be sharing more information about them. And if you really want to put all the save the dates in, our fall fundraising dinner is going to be at a new place. It's going to be bigger and better than last year, and it is on October 12th.
It's a little far.
It's far for you to plan, but I'm telling. I just want you to
Megan's
know.
on top of it. You know Megan's on top of
Some
it.
things going on.
But the bags for babies is the next thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Bags for Babies is the next thing, and we're really excited. On March 4th, it's a Saturday morning, 10 to 12.
Well, if you send me this,
Yes.
logo, we'll have it on the screen.
Yes, I got a slide. I can just shoot over to Taylor.
Yeah, he's the mechanical or computer
Yes.
wizard that he is. I appreciate y'all what you do. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you letting me have a small piece of this, in a sense, because I really enjoy promoting your organization. It's one of the blessings of this job is I get to do these kind of things. I can rant about Biden any day, but I don't get to do this every day.
We appreciate you having us.
Yes, and so I'm sure when we get closer to Walk for Life, you'll be back again. Well, you already told me you were.
Yeah.
You said I will. Yeah,
I'll be back, right?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah. So you'll pick the date. Whenever you're ready to promote. And but I also like to leave with the listeners the diaper drive. It's a serious thing.
Yes, please bring by diapers.
All right. And
Yes.
next week I have Shandy on Monday. On Tuesday I have Ronnie Johnson, council member and candidate for mayor, and then I have Courtney Peets, BISD, the head nurse, going to be on Thursday.
Oh, I was in there with Courtney.
Courtney and Eric, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our two ex-students, of course.
Yeah,
Same-
just like it works.
Everybody says, you must have taught everybody. I said, everybody that counted. So who knows? All right, we'll see y'all next week, and y'all have a good weekend.
All right.
Thank you.